If you're not sure of how to begin your renovation, go to Home Trust. Home Trust is Singapore's leading renovation platform that matches homeowners with trusted interior designers. On the main page, simply click the Get Recommendations feature and answer a few simple questions to get matched with reputable IDs. From there, you can check out their portfolios and take a look at their reviews. Did you know that Home Trust do not delete negative reviews? This is where Home Trust stands out, by providing the promise of trust and transparency to homeowners like ourselves. If you want to know more, make sure you visit their website at hometrust.sg. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we will be talking about interior design and we'll show you all our drawings. Now for those of you who are new to the channel, for this particular 3-room BTO, we did not engage any ID or project managers as part of this renovation. We have to deal directly with contractors. So very naturally, one of the things that we need to do ourselves is to design and draw the entire house. So what we have here is a 2D drawing that is given by HDB. So this is actually a floor plan of a 3-room BTO that was given to us during the unit selection process. So what we are going to do next is to translate these 2D drawings into a 3D one using computer software. Let's go. Alright everyone, so what you are looking at on the screen here is the Sketchup program. So this is a software that many IDs use to communicate ideas to homeowners. For myself, I am using the free version. I am actually not sure what the paid version offers, but I find that the free one is good enough. So what you're seeing on the screen is really the top view of the entire house. We didn't really go for any massive layout changes, and we're not hacking any walls apart from one side of the service yard itself. So you can check out our hacking episode for more details. Apart from that, there are a few unusual choices that we made, so let me highlight them one by one. So first, right, what we did was to convert the master room into the studying room and the common room into the bedroom. So the reason is every morning when Lady Boss wakes up and needs to do her makeup and use her hairdryer, she can do so in the other room without waking me up. And additionally, because this is a small house, the storage becomes even more important. So in the master room, we are able to build a full-length wardrobe on the long wall. But even if we regret this in the future, we can still swap the bed back into the master room and the study tables back into the common room itself. Right? This is something very simple to do. Right? Just something like that. Okay. Let me undo. Okay. And the second uncommon design choice over here is we do not have a TV in the living room itself. Both Lady Boss and myself do not watch TV, and as busy working adults, we don't really have the time as well. So we use our computer screens in the study room more often for entertainment. So in the future, we can consider buying a projector to cast on this particular wall instead. And lastly, we also do not have a fridge in the kitchen. We place it in the service yard in this position instead. So nowadays, BTO houses are getting smaller and smaller. I realized that the default HDB recommended layout, they recommend you to place the fridge at this position. They actually have a power socket here on this wall. However, I realized that it becomes very obstructive to the kitchen walkway. Imagine you having to turn one round to get into the kitchen. And that really defeats the purpose of having an open kitchen concept, because the whole point of it is to have connection between the living and the kitchen area. So with a fridge in the middle, it really defeats the purpose. So after many rounds of redesigning the kitchen, the only viable remaining position is here in the service yard. Other than that, everything else is very standard. So what I'm going to do now is to walk you through the rooms one by one to highlight some of our designs over here. So let's start with the living room. Okay, so let's start a section cut over here, and let's move this particular cut over here so that we can see a bit more properly. Alright, so here we have our living room itself. Normally, homeowners would put a sofa on one side of the wall and a TV console on another side of the wall. But for ourselves, because we do not have the TV, we are able to fit a 1-seater over here on the left side and another 3-seater on the right. So another detail to note is the curtains. Normally, BTOs usually come with this curtain latch, which is directly above the windows to mount your curtains. However, what we did here or what we are going to do here is to mount the curtains onto the ceiling to create this hotel vibes, right? So it is really going to be a floor to ceiling curtain. This will make the space look a little bit more expensive, but really the downside is that you'll be sacrificing about 15 cms of floor space that is consumed by the curtain ledge, right? So this 15 centimeters of floor space will be consumed if you decide to mount the curtain onto the ceiling like what we did here. Okay, so let's talk about this side of the wall over here. Okay, this particular wall. For the HDB default, when we collected our keys, right, this is actually a recess over here. I remember it's about 10 centimeters of recess. We cannot really do anything over here. Actually, what we did already is to flatten this portion with a partition wall. And this side is just going to be a console that we are going to buy from Taobao. Okay, now let's talk about the foyer. So over here, this will be the default DB board area. We are going to cover the doors up with fluted panels. And on this particular wall, there is another recess here in the default layout. So what we are going to do over here is to do a full height cabinet to cover this small recess over here. And we are going to extend the fluted panels all the way out to meet this particular wall. So on this side, right, where the wall connects to the dining area, we are going to flush this flat with a mirror. Okay, so it's going to look something like this, right, having a black mirror over here. Or we're going with a grey tinted mirror, so it's going to look something like this. Now let's talk about the dining area. I think it makes a lot of sense to put the dining area in this position because during cooking, right, if you accidentally ran out of countertop space, you can actually put some items on the dining table itself. Another reason is because every time when you come home over here from the main door with a bag full of groceries, you will typically want a surface to put down to unpack. And additionally, right, there is still ample space on both sides, on the left and right side of the dining table for humans to walk around. So I find this to be the most suitable position to put the dining table. Now let's go into the kitchen. So this is the kitchen, which is really the heart of the house, and careful design is required. So the first thing that we thought about this is to achieve this kitchen triangle. The kitchen triangle means that your sink, your hob, and your fridge are supposed to be in one triangle shape to create this workflow efficiency in the kitchen. So think about it, right? You always start your meal prep by washing your hands in the sink, and then you start to collect your items from the fridge, and then you cook on the cooking hob itself. And then you end off your prep by washing up everything in the sink as well. So during a cooking session, you'll be spinning round and round at the center. So having a triangle layout like this makes everything more intuitive and your cooking process more efficient. For most of us HDB homeowners, we have limited space in the kitchen, and the only way to achieve this for our house is to put the fridge over here in the service yard. Next, let's talk about the cabinets and drawers. I find that everything below the waist level should be drawers. And yes, if you look at the carpenter's quotation, the drawers are more expensive than casement doors like this, but drawers is going to make it so much easier to access items because you can just pull out and see everything as compared to needing to bend down and trying to dig items out. To us, this is not money worth saving, and the only area that is difficult to do drawers is below the sink over here. That's why you can see casement door designs here, because underneath the sink, right, there are the pipes that are blocking. Otherwise, drawers are the way to go. Additionally, you will also want to visualize what items you are going to store in your kitchen so that you can exactly design the space for them. So one good tip is to have inner drawers inside the drawers so that you can store your cutlery and utensils over here, especially near the cooking area. Now for this particular wall, the default tiles that are given by HDB has this very harsh marble grains, which is honestly not the best looking. I can get dizzy by staring at it for too long. So what we are going to do is to do a full height wall panel to cover it up and extend all the way into the service yard to cover the side profile of the fridge. And let's go to the service yard. So after visiting a few homes in my own experience, I realized that homeowners usually leave the service yard unrenovated. For ourselves, we intend to fully utilize the service yard. So on this side of the service yard is where we are going to have our water inlet and water outlet, as well as electricity supply. So we are going to have a washing machine, a robot vacuum, and eventually a dishwasher. For homeowners who want a robot vacuum, please take note that the most ideal position in the entire house to place a robot vacuum is actually in the service yard at this position. Especially those with self-emptying and refilling function, try not to cover it up with carpentry or do a cement base for it. On this side of the service yard, right, is actually where you're going to have two ugly pipes that runs all the way from the ceiling to the floor itself. And we are going to do a full height carpentry to cover it up, as well as two slots for a microwave and an oven. Okay, now let's go to the other side of the service yard. Okay, so this is the other side of the service yard where we are going to position our fridge, and careful space planning is required on this side because we need to fit our 707 storage heater. We also have top carpentry over here on this side, which is mainly for snacks and other commonly used items in this particular cabinet. As for the bottom carpentry over here, this is mainly for the detergents, the clothes hangers, and other cleaning supplies. On top right, we are going to have our motorized laundry rack that we are going to purchase from Taobao. And we can use this particular surface to fold our clothes and do all our prep work. And that is all for the kitchen and service yard. So let's go and take a look at the common room. So this is our common room itself, and typically homeowners use this as a study room. For us, we just use it to sleep. So in this particular area, there is actually a recess in the default layout of HDB when we collected our keys. So it's like a hole in the wall. So what we're going to do is to do a half-height partition over here, and we are going to purchase a cabinet from Taobao to fit this top recess over here, and that will create a bit of storage in the bedroom. After that is done, we are going to flush that entire wall with wall panels and filter panels. For this particular bed, right, it will be a queen size bed, and then we have two bedside tables over here. One important point to note is that if a king size bed is selected, then there's a high chance that the corner of the bed will collide with our bedroom door. For us, queen size is actually good enough, so there's enough comfortable walking space, and we will be using a storage bed for additional storage. Also, just like in the living room, we are going to mount the curtains all the way up in the ceiling itself. So it will be a floor to ceiling curtain. Okay, now over here is our master room. Right, so this will be our master room itself. We converted it into a study room, and I anticipate that this room will be where we spend most of our time in. Nothing really fancy over here or things to say about it. This is just a full-length wardrobe. These are just two study tables and not much else to talk about. Now let's go into the toilets. Right, so we have the common toilet on the left side and the master toilet on the right side. So here's our common toilet. I have to say that the default wall and floor tiles given by HDB are already very nice. We do not have any funky designs, and thankfully we do not have to change anything. So thank you HDB. We are just going to do the acrylic panels on the top to replace the plastic mesh, and then we'll buy this vanity from Taobao and also the mirror itself to install. By the way, you can check out my previous video on how I installed the vanity and the mirror myself. Nothing else that is fancy in the toilet. It will be a straight shower curb over here in the common toilet, and then we have a shower panel on top of the curb. Now let's go to the master toilet. For us, the master toilet is almost an exact copy of the common toilet. The only thing that we are going to do different here is the L-shaped curb instead of a straight curb, and we are going to do a sliding L-shaped glass door. Other than that, everything else is going to be the same. And that is all for our drawings. So now that we are done with the SketchUp drawings, the next thing that we need to do is color coordination. So in order to do this very accurately and precisely, we need to produce 3D renders. Okay, so now that we are done with the SketchUp drawings, let's put everything into 3D renders and we'll start to do color coordination. So what I'm using is a program called Twinmotion, and by the way, this is FOC. Anyone can go and download Twinmotion and start to do renders by themselves. And what I'm going to do is to do a virtual tour of all the entire design of this particular 3-room BTO. So what we are standing here at is actually the foyer area where you open the main door itself. And as we move forward, this is going to be the living room. So remember, I talked about having a 1-seater sofa on the left side and another 2-seater on the right side. And here are our curtains itself. And on this particular wall, we are going to flush this flat. And by the way, right, we are going to do lime wash paint. I know we cannot really render properly the lime wash paint, but this is the best that I can do. You can see a bit of textures over here and so on and so forth. And here we are going to have this TV console, and here's how the kitchen looks like. The benefit of being able to do renders over here, or when you ask your IE for renders, you are able to very easily visualize the colors and to match the overall theme of the house. So for example, right, in this particular wall itself, right, I can just change the color as and when I like it, right? For example, I change the brightness, the darkness, oops. Or maybe I want a different color, I can just do so. Maybe let's use chestnut color on the wall, right? And you can do so instantly to change the colors of the walls. But let's not do that now. Okay, and so here's the kitchen and the dining area. So another thing that is good when we are doing renders is we can plan the lighting. You can see exactly where my lighting points are and how it's going to cast this shape of a triangle onto my wall itself, right? Same for here. And if you go back to my previous video, I did a video on how to do this cornice, right? Which is cove lighting without false ceiling. Okay, you can check out my video. I did an explanation of how this can be done. So this is our kitchen. It's right, nothing fancy. I've already described all this inside the Sketchup program. Another thing interesting here is we are going to have this toe kick lighting, right? It's going to make the kitchen a little bit more atas. Okay, let's go faster. This is our service yard itself, right? You can see this side of the service yard with our oven, microwave, dishwasher, robo vacuum, washing machine. This will be our pressure cooker or rice cooker. And we are going to have our fridge over here, right, with our carpentry. Okay, I really like the look of this painting. I cannot find a suitable painting here in this rendering program, but I think it's going to eventually turn out very nice with this light casting down onto the lighting itself. Okay, so the doors, right, we are going to choose a black color for the doors and complement with the dark wood designs. This is the toilet, common toilet, right? This is just a fixed panel, and on the other toilet, we're going to do a L-shaped sliding on this particular toilet. Okay, so this is the study room, right? And this will be one area that we'll spend most of our time in because we do not have TV. All we are just doing is to use our computer screens as entertainment. So this will be where Lady Boss and myself is going to sit. So one thing about Lady Boss, right, is that she is afraid of the heat. And for myself, I am afraid of the cold. So I actually position this ceiling fan directly above where Lady Boss sits, so that this fan can be blowing towards her. And also, there's an aircon, right? The aircon unit will be positioned directly at her. While I'll be hiding here in this corner, doing my own work, doing my video editing, and so on. Right? Now this is the bedroom. Okay, it's a queen size bed with 2 bedside tables, nothing fanciful. A half-height partition wall over here, and also a storage that is built into the recess. The remaining part of it are just wall panels. Okay, and that is actually all for the entire house. Right? Let me just do a walkthrough again. Okay, and that is all for the entire house itself. And we spent quite a number of hours, a number of weeks and months trying to redo this particular renders to our liking. And that is all for today's video, and that is all to the design and the drawings of this house. Now let us know what you think about the house and the design in the comment section down below. So one question that I always have is, what do you think is the theme of this house? As I started to draw and design this house maybe a year ago before Key Collection, I really didn't have a theme in mind. All I wanted to do was to create the most expensive looking house with the lowest budget possible. And then we started drawing and do a few iterations. Now I'm sure that this isn't really a Japandi or a Muji theme because we do not have the light wood textures. Maybe it's more close to modern, or is it contemporary, or is it wabi-sabi? But you know, in any case, what do you think is the theme of the house? Let us know in the comment section. But otherwise, we will see you in the next video. Bye!